Hello and welcome to the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Reuter, and this podcast is brought to you by thelegendarychiropractor.com, an interactive and immersive virtual platform for prospective chiropractic students, current chiropractic students, recent chiropractic school graduates, and even veteran doctors of chiropractic out in the field wanting just a little bit more from this profession. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you do, be sure to share with a friend, leave us a rate, leave us a review, and also be sure to subscribe to get more. Chiro HD, superior cloud-based practice management software. Chiro HD is a user-friendly, all-in-one EHR solution built with one mission: to help you run your practice like a boss. Learn more at chirohd.com. Total Clinic Solutions is your go-to source for purchasing both brand new and refurbished chiropractic equipment, as well as phone support for repairs and maintenance. Call Derek and allow him to combine your wishes and his 23 years of chiropractic equipment expertise to find what's best for you and your patients at 704-622-4089 or head to totalclinicsolutions.com now. Yo, what is going on, legendary chiropractors? Johnny Reuter here with another episode of the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. I am coming to you live right now. It is dark out. I just got home from work, and it was a crazy busy week this week. We got more reports tomorrow, but the reality is that, you know, there are certain conversations you have every single day as a chiropractor that literally light your soul on fire, especially if you are so passionate about this stuff, and you just love helping people, right? And that's why you guys get into this profession. That's why you become chiropractors, and it's really, really evident when you get into practice and you realize all of the hard work that you put into school, all of the hard work you put into studying for boards, all of the hard-earned cash that you've earned and also taken out and gotten loans to go to school for. It's all worth it, right? A couple conversations a day makes it all worthwhile, which is absolutely amazing, right? So today we're talking all about loans, and how we're talking about loans is really a conversation based around generating enough money and generating loans to make sure you can pay financially for your practice in the future. How can you go about doing this? Who should you talk to? Who should you consult? As always, I am not a financial advisor. I am just giving you my opinion. I'm giving you my experience, and I'm going through this process right now. Business loans, student loans, I mean, you name it, I'm going through it. So I'm in the trenches with you guys. I understand it. I just graduated back in March of 2020, and the reality is that there really is not an easy way to talk about finances, especially as a chiropractic student. However, it's a very important conversation that you need to have and you must have in order to understand how you're going to reach that next level of freedom and getting yourself dug out from underneath all of these student loans. So with that being said, let's dive right into the topic tonight. And it's really about how to go about taking a loan, but also how to pay it back. Right? So taking a loan comes in a couple different variations, right? One, you can take a loan from a family member, right? A family member that has plenty of cash lying around. We're talking 75 to 100K, that they're willing to lend you either with interest or without interest. The second person to kind of rely on would be a coach, a mentor, a guide, a chiropractor that you've worked with or for as an associate who either wants to start a satellite practice or with you, or they want to invest in your future because they know it is bright. The third thing, or the third the third thing to get your finances from or your loans from would be going the traditional route of going to a bank, presenting a business plan, a marketing plan, showing your numbers, showing your data, and really asking them for anywhere between $100,000 and $125,000, right? Because there's always unexpected things that you're not going to think of, that you're not going to know about, and you're going to have to cover those costs, right? It's the reality with any loan. It's the reality with starting any business. Now, I'm not necessarily at this exact time, February 18th, 2021, I haven't exactly started my practice building yet, meaning leasing and agreements and loans and things like that. But that's coming up. It's coming down the pipeline. So I'm understanding this better every single day, and I'm sharing that knowledge with you. So take it for what it's worth. Now, those are the three people you can get loans from: family member, mentor, coach, guide / head chiropractor that wants to start a satellite office or just wants to invest in your future. Third person would be the bank and a true business loan that you get through business or banking financing, right? Now, how do you pay back a loan that you've now taken? So, excuse me, now that you've taken out a loan that is now $175,000 to $100,000 or $100,000 to $125,000 on top of what you already owe in student loans and student debt, which is probably somewhere between $150,000 to $300,000. Let's be honest. So anywhere in that gap, now you are adding another $70,000 to $150,000 to that, right? So how do you handle this as a chiropractic student? How do you knowingly handle this as a chiropractic student? Because my biggest thing when it comes to finances and when it comes to loans and when it comes to your future is to truly understand and have a plan of attack. If you know, easily share your passion for chiropractic and look good doing it with Above Down Apparel, offering a premium lineup of principled apparel that's impossibly soft, sustainably sourced, and chiropractic AF. Visit abovedown.co and follow them on Instagram to learn more and score yourself some sweet chiro swag. What to expect, you can predict the outcome. If you know what to expect, you can predict the outcome. And with that being said, you gotta know what to expect when it comes to loans, when it comes to paying them back, and when it comes to finances as a chiropractic student. Because if you know what to expect, you can predict the outcome. So if you know you're taking $100,000 from a family member at 0% interest, you know at some point you are going to have to pay that $100,000 loan back to that family member. If you're taking that $100,000 loan from the bank, you have to understand that you are probably sitting anywhere between 7 and 9.5% on interest with that bank loan. And guess what? Not only do bank loans have super high interest rates, but they also are sometimes the only way to finance your future. And that's okay, right? That's okay if that's the route you have to go, right? However, really high interest rates and that line of credit, they can call back any time. Meaning if they say one day they wake up one morning on a Monday morning and they say, I want the $98,000 back, in the next 7 days, they can do that, right? They can literally do that. And if you don't have the means to pay, you could be in some trouble, right? Obviously, there's legal binding contracts behind all of this stuff, but there's a lot of red tape in regards to true business bank loans. Now, I'm not discouraging you from getting them because tons of chiropractors have done it. However, it's not your ideal situation. Ideal situation number 1 is going to a family friend. Ideal situation number 2 is going to your mentor, your mentor, your guide, the head chiropractor that you've been associating with, and asking them if they want to open up a satellite office or or having this conversation before even going into an associateship, right? Like this is a conversation I had with my head chiropractor before I even went into my associateship, which is why I absolutely love, oh, let me get my lights back on here. Holy cow, I'm in my car right now. But this is why I absolutely love, the short-term associate option, right? The short-term associate option is really a 12 to 18 month or 18 to 24 month sprint that you are associating. You're learning all the day one, day twos. You're learning all the finances. You're learning insurance. You're learning everything. But at the end of the day, you can have it clearly written out in your contract that, hey, I'm planning on exiting X day and I want to go open my own practice. Now, when it comes to financing, that's not necessarily in the associate contract unless you're doing like a satellite office or a franchise model, but it can be a conversation that you have with the doc that either happens before you sign the contract, during your associateship, or even after your associateship or as it's coming to an end. But more than likely, that head chiropractor really wants you to know how to run a successful, sustainable business, and they want you to make sure that you are successful. So they might be able to grant you a loan for anywhere between 75 and 150K at a smaller interest rate than the bank, and you're not going to have some insane business proposal like you would having to go to the bank in a suit and tie and nice shoes and clothes, right? So it's a little bit of a different situation. However, it's really important to understand that you're adding this on top of your already student loan stress. So don't be foolish about where you get your loan and where you can have that loan provided for you. Now, in regards to paying back the loan, there will likely be interest rates, either business, if it's tied to a business bank loan, or if it's tied to your mentor, the head chiropractor that you've been associating with. There's likely to be interest, right? So you pay down a minimum and you also pay down interest each month to them until your payment is complete, because then it's a win-win for both of you. It's a win for you because you get a lump sum of money right out of the gate and you get to go open a business. The win for them is that they get, anywhere between 5 and 7% interest on top of that loan that they've given you. And now at the end of the day, they have 5 to 7% more of what they actually lent you, right? So they're actually making money on the loan that they gave you, which is how loans work. That's how they work at the banks. It's how they work with a mentor giving you that. That's how they work in the franchise model if they buy you out. The only place it doesn't happen is if you get your money from a family member that doesn't, you don't do any contract or you don't do any interest rates, right? That's the obviously most ideal situation, but not everybody has that opportunity. So you gotta venture out with different scenarios there. Now, speaking on paying back student loans, I know I've said that a couple times, but speaking of paying back student loans, you really have to know how much you can afford to pay back each month. You don't want to get in over your head, right? If the loan takes longer to pay off, that's okay. You still will have to pay the interest rate. So the person who gave you the loan is fine if it takes a little bit longer than expected, because at the end of the day, they're still making money off of you. Same with the bank. However, again, they can yank that line of credit at any given moment. And if you're making minimum payments like a person who's just trying to take advantage of the system, they might yank that line of credit and say, I don't really trust that you're going to actually pay us back ever. And then you get yourself into a really, really, really sticky situation. So just be careful with that. Understand that. Know how that stuff works, because it's really important to have a good grasp on this stuff. And when it comes to paying them back, you just got to understand what the interest rates are. You got to understand how much you can afford per month to actually be paying back to these business loans and student loans. And we talked a lot about student loans and different plans that you can do. So we're not going to bring that back up. But you got to understand your minimums that you can pay. And you have to understand if you take in anything extra, what can and or what should that money be going towards? Should it be going to new Lululemon leggings or should it be going to a new jacket? Probably not. Probably not. It should be going into a bank account to pay back student loans and to pay back your business loans, right? So be smart. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power in regards to your own life, in regards to other people's lives. Knowledge is power. People will ask you about their problems all freaking day long. It's what happens as a chiropractor. It's what happens as a doctor. But you got to get used to it. You got to understand that they are seeking your advice. You are the expert. Dr. Stu Hoffman, founder and president of Chiropractic Malpractice Insurance, is the foremost expert in both risk management and risk avoidance. Understanding the everyday challenges of today's practicing chiropractor and the current public perception of chiropractic has made Chiropractic the fastest growing malpractice insurance program of the last 28 years. Find out more at chiropractic.com. Imaging Services' primary business is chiropractic solutions. With over 45 years in the industry of helping chiropractors, Michael Tokash offers free consultations on building your business. In the past year, Imaging Services has installed over 100 X-ray machines and digital X-ray systems in over 42 states across the United States. For more, head to theimagingservices.com. Dr. Brad Glowacki runs one of the highest volume, highest profile, highest profitability practices in the world, and it's all run with vitalistic communication procedures. Those procedures from his office are then shared with other chiropractors at his various trainings as a part of Level Up Mentoring. This information is created, developed, tested, and then packaged simplistically before being taught. With bruises and scars from making mistakes, Dr. Glow always delivers refined content that is battle-tested and simplified for use on Monday. To level up your life and practice, head over to levelupmentoring.rocks. That's levelupmentoring.rocks. Give them the best direction, right? Give them the best direction out of a sense of abundance out of your heart because you truly do care about them as a patient and as a practice member, right? So you got to understand that knowledge is power, but not only knowledge in other people's lives and health concerns, but knowledge is power in your own freaking life. Understand that. Understand that knowledge is power in your own life. If you know your future plan, I'm going to say it again. If you literally know what to expect, you can predict the outcome. If you know what to expect, you can predict the outcome. This is why we do these talks. This is why I do these live videos. This is why we have a podcast that's been going for 9 freaking seasons now. This is why we do this. Because you have to know and be equipped with the right information, the right material, and the right value to make the best decisions educationally and outside of your educational mind that you possibly can make for yourself, your family, and your lives, right? If you are not equipped with the right knowledge, you're not going to make the right decisions. Not saying my decisions and my opinions and my personal beliefs and my personal experience is the one and only way. I try to give you multiple ways every single episode to give you and break down for you so that you have options and you can truly start to write this stuff out and understand where I'm coming from in regards to the knowledge that you're creating and the information that you are gaining from watching and listening to this podcast and everything that we're doing here at the Legendary Chiropractor. Because at the end of the day, you have to have a game plan moving forward. From chiropractic school, across that stage, into the next phase of your chiropractic career and journey, you have to understand what that plan is and what it looks like for you personally and you alone. That's all it's got to be, because you and your family are the most important things to yourself And you need to not compare yourself to others, but you need to understand that every single chiropractic student is dealing with every single same thing as you are. Just some people have it more, some people have it less. Don't compare yourselves to others, but make sure you have all of the information you need moving into the next phase of your career. As a chiropractic student, it's a great time to start paving that path through the treacher and discomfort of vulnerability as you walk across that stage and you now are equipped with the knowledge to understand what to do versus walking across that stage and being a freaking ghost and not knowing anything on what to do or where to turn or how to do it next. That is my biggest fear for all chiropractic students. Don't do it. Don't go at this alone, but don't do nothing. Do something, please. And I know that sounds so simple, but do something, please. It's going to benefit you in the long run. I promise you. So, another episode of Legendary Chiropractic Podcast. I love you guys. I appreciate you. If you're just listening to this, if you're just tuning in, please go back and watch this from the beginning. A lot of good knowledge in here. It's the end of the week for me. Got a couple of reports in the morning, but I hope you have a very powerful week. Rest of your week this week. We'll be at you with another episode next week of the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. I love you. I appreciate you. And please, please, please keep your eyes peeled, people, for Chiropractor app launching April 2021. Love you guys. Bye. Again, I'm your host, Johnny Reuter, and you're listening to the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for engaging with us on all of our platforms, including, but not limited to, Facebook and Instagram, all at The Legendary Chiropractor. Be sure to check our home site out at thelegendarychiropractor.com, as we have much to offer for prospective chiropractic students, current chiropractic students, recent chiropractic school graduates, and even veteran doctors of chiropractic out in the field. And lastly, I'd like to thank not only you, our listener, but also our podcast sponsors. Without them, this show wouldn't be possible. So I encourage you to go check out their websites and what they have to offer in the show notes for this episode. Thanks again. Stay legendary, my friends.